At least 53 people have died as a result of devastating wildfires on 2 Hawaiian islands. The governor says the blazes are the worst natural disaster in the history of the U.S. state. The speed with which the fires spread on Maui caught many people off guard.
A historic town reduced to a smouldering pile of ash and rubble. Once the capital of the former Hawaiian kingdom, Lahaina is usually bustling with tourists. Now, much of the old town has been destroyed. Many residents were caught off guard. Some even jumped into the ocean to escape the oncoming flames. Tens of thousands of locals and tourists have been evacuated from the island. And for those remaining, sadness for what is lost and anger at what could have been done to stop it prevails.
This is not even the worst of it. Still get dead bodies in the water floating and on the seawall. They've been sitting there since last night. We've been pulling people out since last night, trying to save people's lives. And I feel like we're not getting the help we need.
US President Joe Biden has said that Hawaii will get everything it needs. When the blazes broke out, much of Hawaii was under a red flag fire risk warning. What exactly started the fires is as yet unknown, but the conditions were ripe. A confluence of extremes, severe drought, hurricane-strength winds, amplified by climate change, has led to catastrophe.
Well, for more on this, we're joined by Stephen Bussinger. He's a professor at the Department of Atmospheric Sciences at the University of Hawaii. Stephen, Hawaii is used to dealing with wildfires. How did these fires get out of control?
Well, this was a perfect storm, really, because we had very strong high pressure to the north of the Hawaiian Islands that became synchronized with the passage of a very strong tropical storm, Dora, Hurricane Dora. It was a Category 4 hurricane, well to the south of Hawaii, but it produced this very strong wind surge that came across the West Maui Mountains. And the West Maui Mountains, in turn, accelerated those winds further, and especially at night. And that's what caught people off guard, is that this firestorm occurred when people were, sleeping or taken unawares. So it was a perfect storm.
These fires have caused massive loss of life and wiped out Hawaii's historic capital. Why have these fires proved so destructive, Stephen?
Well, I think that is probably a combination of the meteorology and then also a little bit of the history, because it used to be that above Lahaina there were sugarcane fields for many, many decades. And those sugarcane, that agriculture disappeared in the 90s and a bit later, and it has not been replaced. And so what we have instead is sort of an invasive tall grass that provides the fuel for these devastating fires.
Are these fires, Stephen, linked to the pattern of heat waves that we've been seeing across the northern hemisphere lately?
That's an interesting question. It is certainly very obvious that we are seeing a great number of conflagrations across the northern hemisphere, and Hawaii somehow fits into this pattern. It's not a coincidence that we are seeing so many of these things happening at the same time. However, it's very difficult to pinpoint and say, okay, this is a mark of climate change for this particular event. I think that it definitely has also a very strong weather component to it.
Stephen, thank you very much. That was Stephen Bussinger, professor at the University of Hawaii.
My pleasure.